racewalk type drills. And one of the elements that we talked about with the previous video that we looked at in the first of the warm-up sessions, it was the coach was doing the just sort of demonstrating to athletes, and we wondered if it would be better that I've got somebody to demonstrate. So I've got a demonstrator this afternoon for the video. So yeah, I'm much happier showing that to you today. So it's about a 10-minute video to look at doing athletes going through some drills and skills. If you have your volume up, there's you can hear me sort of chatting about a few key pointers in there. So we'll have a look at that, and then we'll get into some questions. So, right, sit back. Here we go.
You can do each drill. You see where Chris is, where the cone is. So you're going to do the drill to the cone. And then can you see? There's one, two. There's a bit of a gap, and then there's another white line on the track. Right. Remember where that line is. You're going to do each drill to the cone. Then you're going to do like a transition into a racewalk through to the next set of white lines. Right. Your first drill. Right, you do a racewalk. Nice and tall. Just going to tap your opposite knee. Okay, so get a range of movement around there. Also helps you get your legs straight with your toes up. This is good for that. Right. So you do each drill as so. When I hit the cone, transition into a race walk through up to where Sean is, and we have got him in the right spot now, so we're good to go. Right, have a go. Right, and let's say when you get to Verity, then the next group go. Okay, but nice and tall. Right, let's see that one again. Chris is going to show you this one again. Okay, tap it opposite knee. Don't look at the track though. Look at the trees. Okay, track's going to be there all day. It won't go anywhere. Okay, but just look at the trees. Okay, that helps. If we look down here, we lose all our posture. Okay, we want to be nice and tall. Right, so try that one again. Okay, knee taps. When you get to the cone, transition into a race walk. Okay, nice and tall. Remember, look at the trees, not the track. Good girl. Our next drill, Chris is demoing the next one. Okay, nice and tall with your hands turned up. Longer strides. Nice one. Okay, nice posture, long stride. Don't know, twist to get a big stride. Make sure you're pushing off all your toes. Yeah, so a guy called Paulo Murta, who's a coach from Portugal. We talked about doing this. I think if you've got your hands here, they kind of drop. So Paulo said, yeah, get your palms up. So that's where yeah. Yeah, so I think that helps you keep your hands up. Yes, so well, I would have done many years of that, and we kind of thought that really did help. So that's a top tip. Okay, let's go. Okay, nice. Remember, don't look at the track, look at the trees. Hit the cone, make the switch. Okay, any of the kind of drills that we do with our arms up like so, they all kind of help with postures. There's loads of variations on a theme. When we're doing leads, right, if in the last 7 days you have raced and you have either won a race or you've done a personal best, then you get to do that drill in the victory position. Okay, but it's a 7-day window, so if it applies to you in the last 7 days, you get that, and it lasts for 7 days, so you get bragging rights for the week, and then you've got to earn another one. So if that applies to you, go for it. Otherwise, as you were, let's do another one of those. Yes, I know, we're fairly safe, I think, with that. Morning. How are you?
Yeah, good.
All right, thanks.
Today?
Yeah. But it's a nice drive this morning, so yeah. Okay, here's your next drill. Oh, sorry, Chris. Okay, backwards. Actually, yeah. Can you get that? Okay, so it's the same posture as that one. Can you get? Yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. Have a go. Remember, good and tall. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, next group. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Good, good. Nice one. Good. Okay, here's your next one. Okay, arms like so. Head up. Okay. Nice one. Right. Okay, so cross the line. Yeah, cross the line. So we're kind of getting really kind of extending the range of movement. And my arms. Okay, so we're not cradling a baby here. Okay, we're pulling back here, which if I just straighten it all up, puts me in that position. Yep. Right. Have a go. Okay, so crisscross the line. Still nice and tall.
The curve line.
Yeah.
Bit more swing on the arms, Hannah.
Pick your line carefully. It's the dotted ones to start with. Otherwise, you'll be off into the next lane.
See whether you're crossing your feet or actually across the line.
Nice one. Right, cool. Thanks, Noel. Okay, have a go again. Remember, good and tall. Look at the trees, not the track. Yeah, that's better. Cool. Good stuff. Opposite arm and leg. That's where we go. Okay, next one is foot rolls. Right, don't lift up with your hips, just use your ankles. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so watch Chris here. Okay, I've asked him not to use his hips to lift up, just to get all of this movement coming from around his ankle. So it's just the muscles below the knee. So it's not the ones that do that. Okay, it's the ones that do that. All right. Yeah, you can use your arms. Good question, thank you very much. And we'll go to the blue dotted line for this one, to me. Okay, same place for your transition though. Okay, let's go. Okay, still nice and tall. Okay, and tiny little steps. Can you get up on your toes as well? So you roll right up. Okay, so make the switch when you get to me. Okay, so do that one again to the blue dotted line. Yeah, really think, can you get your toes up nice and high, and then can you get your heel up really high as well at the back? So you're right through a big range of movement. Okay, but yeah, you can bring your arms in as well. Right, let's go. Okay. Can you if you put your heel down right next to the toe of the other foot, so get really tiny little steps.
Hannah, too big a step.
The final drill. Chris. Okay. So imagine you're pulling yourself along with a rope. And that pull there, it also helps you pull through your hips as well. Right, and we're back to going to the cone. Right, okay, let's go. Nice and tall. Big pull through the hips. Right. Okay, and then big transition into your walk. Nice one. Right, okay, let's go. One more. Tall, tall, tall. Pull right through your hips. Got it, good.
Right, cool. Okay, so thanks for hanging in there, watching that. I guess the drills that we had in there would certainly argue that they hit on all of the sort of the key muscle groups and the ranges of movement that we want specifically for our race walk action, and they probably build on some of the sort of the teaching people how to grasp the event. So here we're definitely sort of making some refinements with these drills. Yeah, so things like the knee taps, we've got something there that extends the sort of range around hip flexion, that's lifting your knees up, and the long step, you know, bit more range around hip extension, and we had a big focus there. One of the coaching cues was to push off all of your toes and not to twist your foot on the floor, because that will be indicative of not really getting a good hip rotation. We had crisscrossing the line, so we're extending, you know, range around our, you know, across the midline. We use some of that in terms of our, you know, our hip rotation in our race walk. We counterbalance the hip movements with shoulder movement, so the you know, the backwards arm swings or variations on a theme there. Of course, our second drill we did, sorry, going backwards and forwards here, the tall one with the long steps with the arms out, is a, you know, that's a really good posture drill. Then the foot rolls, important because we want the range of movement, so we can actively use our feet. And then we kind of pulled it all together with the drill that had the rope pull, which was also a feature in our session on Monday in terms of sort of learning the event. That one probably sort of pulls everything together, but that very much does get us pulling through our hips. So I think walking is a pulling event. If you look at that middle shot of Tom there, the one where it's just above where it says relaxed, you know, from that point there, his foot hits the floor and he's pulling all the way through into the push-off, compared with, you know, with running, where we would get most of our movement from the pushing action. Walking, I think we classify more as a pulling type event. Right, so just one big caveat to all of that. So myself and Brian Hanley, we actually ran a little research project. So we were interested in, you know, from that sort of the ramp warm-up concepts. So those drills are probably really good for sort of for teaching and reinforcing technical elements. But did they sort of switch the muscles on in the same way that sort of that activation, mobilization that we looked at in the very first session did that? So we got a bunch of athletes wired up to measure their muscle activity. So if you see on that little larger image, there's a bunch of sort of black dots around the athlete's leg, the one that he's got bent and raised up. And yeah, so they're attachments for an electromyograph that will measure the muscle activity. So they kind of tell us which muscles are working in what sequence. And we were interested in if they were kind of having a warm-up effect as well as a sort of a technical effect. And the bottom line was no, they didn't particularly. But clearly they're important for sort of teaching the skills of the event. So they certainly got their place. If we really sort of dial down with what we're doing technically, yeah, do we need to do all of those drills in that way? Yeah, so for more experienced athletes, you know, we might look for some alternatives. And I'll probably come back to some of the, more of the sort of generic athletic stuff that we did in that ramp warm up in terms of actually really getting the muscles switched on. But yeah, in terms of teaching and working with young athletes, yeah, we're probably not very far away from most of those drills a lot of the time. So, yeah. So if we want to chat about any of that, if we've got any questions, Spencer's helping me out again today. Right, here we go. Oh, hi, Silvana. Thanks for your question. So should drills be mixed on the same session, or should be specific work for one part of the body per training session? I guess for drill stuff, we might focus on if you've got a specific area, so if you haven't got, say, great hip extension, then maybe you do a few more of those drills. For hip extension, that would be the one where we have the arms out to the side and the and a bit of debate around palms up or not. So maybe you would do individually, you might do a little bit more than that. So I get as when you're in a real coaching situation, then yeah, you might have athletes working on slightly different things, or you might ask them to really focus on on one in particular. But I probably wouldn't do the body part stuff. That's kind of I guess that's the sort of thing you might do in strength and conditioning, when you might have a a leg day, upper body kind of focus day. So I think we probably have the drills in all in together. Hi, Clive. Thanks for this. So I was thinking how would I deal with less experienced. So now that's a really good point, Clive. So we looked on, if anybody watched Monday's webinar, which will be up to view within a week. We looked there about probably some different drills in terms of actually, if you're quite inexperienced and just getting to grips with the event, then yeah, we would probably do some similar ones. So you're quite right. Most of that group were quite experienced. So we're probably that's probably a set of drills there that we're refining technique with, yeah, athletes who've got some experience. Yeah, we'd probably chop it down and do some of the simpler ones that we looked in on a previous webinar. So if you have a look for that, you can find those. But yeah, I agree. Right, when you've got a limited amount of space during lockdown, yeah, good one, Jacqueline. Are there any drills you'd specifically recommend? Well, the foot rolls don't take a lot of room. You'll notice that we shortened the sort of the distance that we did the drill over, because you don't move very far doing those, and they're yeah, well, and they're a really important one for having the range of movement around your foot. So you should be able to do some of those around the house. I think some of the people tuned into this might well also have done and practiced some of their drills in front of a mirror at home, and maybe just like taking like one or two steps and then just stepping back again. So there are elements of that we can probably practice in a confined space. Just a couple of steps, and then but repeated over and over again. So yeah, but I think we're all having to get a bit creative. Yeah, because all our tracks are locked up and we can't get in them. So, or our all our regular places. So bit of creativity. Cool. Right, whilst we're waiting for people to, I can't believe we're shy, getting some more questions in, or we've explored them all in the previous webinars. This is the third one of these that we've set up using some of our existing resources. So there will be plenty more Racewalk webinars, and but what I'm interested to know is actually what the audience wants us to focus on. send me an email, look me up on the England Athletics page under coaching and endurance, and you'll find my email under there if you don't know it. And you know, I've got lots of ideas about what would make you know, potentially interesting things in webinars for race walk coaches and athletes. You know, but obviously I'll bring a whole load of bias to all of that. So yeah, if the stuff that you know that you would like us to address, then you know, send us some ideas, and you know, and we'll do our best to have a go at it. So oh, here we go, Alex. How many of these race walking drills also used by runners? So well, elements of those would be, I think they are specific walks drills, but there's some common themes there. You would have heard stay tall, and you know, comments on posture, yeah, telling people to look at the trees, not the track, because if they're doing that, they've probably got their head up, which is what we're after. You know, so controlling posture and you know, extending sort of ranges of movement, breaking down elements into for run technique would be common. I think a lot of the drills that we did in the first of these webinars, the first warm-up one, the sort of the activation, mobilization, you know, are common to all athletes. Yeah, and then I guess, you know, if you were focused on running, then yeah, you've probably got run specific, you know, drills that we would do, that we drop into there. So if I do have any plans for next camp, I'm extremely interested. Cool. So race walking is one of our targeted events in England Athletics, along with steeplechase and marathon in endurance. And we put on some training days through the winter, which we will be doing through winter 2020-2021 again, in a similar but not necessarily the same format, and with, yeah, perhaps led by one or two different people as well, not just me, which is a relief for you. And we have a training camp that we run. Yeah, we've run that for several years in February up in Leeds. So again, with the program continuing, then, you know, we're planning to deliver that. So that's the kind of stuff that kind of gets going around, yeah, sort of English schools time in September. Then we start to announce that. And so, can vets come to some of your training camps? Yes, the short answer is yes. We definitely build them around the targeted group, which is, you know, we're really trying to hit on helping athletes make that transition from junior to senior. You know, but as long as you're happy with that, then yeah, you're very welcome, Grazia. So, right. Oh, hi, Francisco. I'm glad that one came back. I thought that one had disappeared, and I hadn't read it properly. What drills do I recommend for improving stride rate? Yeah, it's not on the video there, but you could do short, fast race walk steps. So a little bit like the foot roll drill, but actually a proper step, but short and fast. So really kind of spinning your wheels. And we do that sometimes with a drill. We do 5 short, fast steps, 5 long steps, still quick but long. And just go 5, 5, 5 all the way down the length of the track. So yeah, cadence is key, and it's a thing to focus on when, you know, when we're getting fatigued in competition. Then actually, you know, queuing in and thinking about just keeping cadence going, yeah, is perhaps the strategy to go for, rather than trying to keep a long step going. Right. Oh, hi, Patrice. Right. Good to hear from you. So would it be good to put in some technical drills during long race walking training to relax and break up routine? So, yeah, I think the short answer to that is yes. And I would, I'd agree with you. We probably don't do specific drills with it, or haven't prescribed specific drills within long training sessions. Very often change the pace around in long training sessions just to help people keep a focus on what they're doing rather than it just being a long sort of slog. And to think about some of the technical elements, some of that last drill that we showed with the long arms, you know, pulling through, getting the athletes to think about pulling through the hips. You know, I often mention that to athletes or refer to specific drills and say, hey, think about, you know, how it feels when you did this particular drill. You know, when we're out doing training sessions, whether we actually, you know, stop and do the drill itself. I haven't done that previously. Actually, that raises a point though. We before we get kicked off here, all those drills we did as a transition. So we're trying to take a little bit of sort of learning from the drill, see if it'll actually transfer into our regular walking technique. If you wondered why we were doing those, the transitions on all of those drills there. Right, looks like time is up. So thank you for tuning in again. Please send ideas for future topics. I've got lots of ideas, but like I said, I've got a bit of bias, so make sure you help me deal with that and send me some of your ideas for future content. Okay, well, thanks very much. I look forward to seeing you when we get out of lockdown at some point in the not too distant future. Okay, take care. Thanks very much.